Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
My video is not active. I do not know why.
1 second. So, are you able to share the PPT? Can we just check?
I do not have any PPT. I already told to the Srinivas.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm Dr. Srinivas speaking.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Great. Very good. I did not prepare any PPTs because I was going to talk to you from my experience.
Okay.
And also my company said certain data cannot be published and so on. That's okay. No problem.
That's okay, sir.
But I need to have my video on because otherwise people cannot see me, right?
Yeah. That's important. If the PPT is not there, the camera is important.
Yeah, camera is important. Camera is not on.
Oh, 1 second.
I joined the meeting from the link that you gave me.
Oh, okay. 1 second. See if we are able to.
Now I think it has come. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much. I see there are already so many people have joined. Very nice.
Now made you a presenter also, so everything will be smooth.
Yeah,
Just in case want to share. Yes, and
no, I thought I'll come a little earlier, 5 minutes earlier, to say hello to you and just have an interaction with you.
Hopefully, you are able to see me.
Yes, I'm able to see you. Right.
Just so.
Yeah, if things work out better, I think we'll meet each other in person.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
I have to put on a mask.
Yeah, I'm at home, so I don't need a mask. Can you quickly tell me the background of this series of webinars?
Hello, Professor. Please come again.
Can you quickly tell me the background of these webinars?
Okay. We have AzadiKaAmrutMahotsav season now going on.
Yes.
To commemorate the
75 years
of Indian independence. And that is the main crux of this webinar series, to showcase where we have to become self-reliant and how smartly we have to become self-reliant with a flavor of medtech. CPD Med, TBI and CFC, that is Smart Factory, together organize this. So it will be smart factories in medtech area.
Okay.
Or it's more like it doesn't to be an interjection. It can be union of the sorts, because any technology that in future will be maybe utilized in medtech also are part of this.
Okay.
And it has to further go into a mode called design, manufacturing, and entrepreneurship.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. So the design has to be there, and the manufacturing should not be far away from the design. It has to be close. The design and manufacturing have to go together. And once you manufacturing, if you're not selling it, if it's not commercially available, it doesn't make sense.
Correct.
Yeah. So right from idea to the market, with a smart approach or a smart factory approach in medtech. So that is the crux of this series.
Very nice.
CPD Med CEFC, Design, Manufacturing, and Entrepreneurship series.
Great. Okay, very good. Excellent. You should definitely visit my factory because we have the hybrid micro device. There are only 2 or 3 companies in India who make this hybrid design.
Yes,
we are thick film, not thin film. So we are far away from the VLIC and so on. But still, we are very relevant because we'll be relevant for the next 20 years also.
Correct. Absolutely right. Dr. Kaushik, can you give us an update on how our voices are? Mr. Kaushik?
I don't see him.
Okay.
If you're able to hear me well, I think everybody will hear.
Yes, now I can hear you well. In between, there was small disturbance. I was wondering if it is from my side or your side.
I don't know. My internet is very good.
Okay, then fantastic.
DwarakaDasa sir, good afternoon. Satish Kailas here.
Oh, very good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you. I hope everything well with you.
Oh, it's very nice. Very nice. The other day, I thought I will interact with you when you came to residency, but there was no time.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll meet sometime.
Sure, sir.
How is Dad doing?
Well, everything well, sir.
Good, very good. Thank you.
We'll give 5 minutes for others to join. And
Good.
because today's session is more interactive session and it's about entrepreneurship and all, I have given free mic to each and everyone. Please be responsible and use the mics responsibly. Thank you. Welcome everyone to CPD Med CFC, Design, Manufacturing and Entrepreneurship series. We are now part of AzadiKaAmrutMahotsav, a commemoration to celebrate 75 years of Indian independence. As part of the today's webinar, we bring to you Professor DwarakaDasa, who after decades of being an academician, have successfully moved into entrepreneurship and gave his shoulder to fledgling company. And whenever the company needed his support and also direction, he was with the company. The company, Karnataka Hybrid Micro Devices Private Limited, and showed that the transference of academicians or students to become entrepreneurs can be a successful endeavor. To make it more clear about what you will be able to know, I will briefly go through Professor DwarakaDasa's profile, which I already shared, but still I would like to do it in person. Professor Ishwarhalli Sundararajan DwarakaDasa was born on 22nd May 1941 in Namma, Bengaluru. He obtained his bachelor's degree in science from St. Joseph's College, Bengaluru in 1959. BE, MSc Engineering and PhD degrees in Metallurgy from the Indian Institute of Science in 1961, 66 and 1971 respectively. He served as Senior Research Associate 1961 to 63, a lecturer 63 to 73, Assistant Professor, Associate Professor and Professor at the Department of Metallurgy, Indian Institute of Science. Spent 1 year as postdoctoral fellow, postdoctoral fellow at the University of Maryland, USA, 2 years in the University of Technology, Baghdad, as Government of India Deputy, UGC Senior National Associate BARC, BHU Met Golden Jubilee Professor at BHU Metallurgy Department, UNIDO Expert at BML, Kolar, and FAA Fellow at University of Clausthal, Germany. His research work mainly involved study of physical metallurgy, alloy development, corrosion and spray forming of aluminum alloys. He contributed to the development of aluminum lithium alloys in India and 7010 aluminum alloy used in light combat aircraft. He was the founder member of Aluminum Information Center and Foundation for Advanced Materials Education. He has over 150 technical publications in the area of aluminum alloys. He has won the following awards. Really, it's a privilege for me to go through the awards itself. Metaserv Award for Excellence in Electron Microscopy 1981, Mascot Award 1982, Ferrogard Award 1983, Indranil Gold Medal 1986, Best Metallurgist Award of IIM 1990, Hindustan Zinc Gold Medal of IIM 1996, Nalco Gold Medal 2006, Engineer of the Year of Institution of Engineers 2014, and one of the 1,000 Engineers of the World by Biographic Society, UK. Tyati Award for Specialized Work in Avionics. Conclude, he is a Fellow of Indian Institute of Metals, Indian National Academy of Engineering, Institution of Engineers, Aeronautical Society of India, Electrochemical Society of India, and Indian Institute of Welding. His hobbies include shared education, and international travel. Without much further ado, I present you Professor DwarakaDasa, Chairman, Karnataka.
Yeah, it is all God's work only. It is only God's work. It started and also people are joining. It's all God's hand only.
And please feel free with mic. Today is not a lecture session. Today is a wisdom sharing session and experience sharing session. Please feel free to raise your hands and we can interact with Professor DwarakaDasa. Welcome, Professor DwarakaDasa. Over to you. Professor DwarakaDasa, you are on mute.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Prof. Srinivas, for giving a very beautiful introduction about my background. I do not know how you located me to invite me for this lecture.
Especially in Bengal, it is very bad.
Therefore, I'm very happy to be present.
Life in West Bengal is a
Isaac, can you mute?
Okay. He gave you a very good background about my academic work in the Institute of Science.
No, I think you're in a slightly different domain because this is related to agri-machinery.
I think somebody else is talking.
Nobody is really there who's familiar with this kind of a machinery in our group. I believe so. So,
Professor Srinivas, it's better to mute everybody until you are ready to start interacting. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. As a part of the 75 years of independence of our country, this series has been organized, and I'm very happy to be a part of this. I'm thankful to Professor Srinivas for having invited me to share my views about how an academic has migrated to entrepreneurship and built up a very nice company. When I say nice company, please note that I'm not talking in terms of money, but I'm talking in terms of capability and excellence. Before I start the lecture or interaction, I would like to say anybody who is interested in visiting my company is welcome. If they can send me an email, I will organize a visit for you. Please wait until this corona situation is over, and then we will start interacting. I would like to give a very small background of how this transformation from academics to entrepreneurship was possible. A few years before my retirement, I was a very prolific industrial consultant and therefore knew a large number of industries in and around Bangalore. And this company, Karnataka Hybrid Micro Devices, started in 1992 with the dream of two space scientists who were working in ISRO, thinking that they will start a company and become a supporting company to ISRO. It took them 2 years to establish, and in 1994 they formed the board of directors with Professor U.R. Rao as the chairman, and a very illustrious set of people on the board. Their idea was that they will make the hybrid micro devices for ISRO, because ISRO requires something like 2,000 of these devices for every satellite, and for every satellite sent up, there's one more on the ground, therefore we need about 4,000 devices. And since the activity with ISRO was increasing, they looked at a great potential. Although they were from ISRO, they forgot that the qualification procedure, please note this is a very important point, the qualification procedure is a very long drawn process. It takes 4 to 5 years, and therefore you should have the strength to sustain yourself for that period. Since I was a consultant to them, I knew what was happening. They invested about 5 crores, employed about 80 people, and started working towards establishing the device making plant. 4 years down the line, they had not been qualified, no money to support, to sustain, and therefore they had to borrow some money. But even after borrowing, could not sustain. So they reached a point of no return stage. And since I was associated with them, they started requesting me to do something. I mean, I must say, in Tamil, we say, poor teacher. I was the professor at the Institute of Science, and what I could do, I did not know, but still, I told them, let's find out. One of my brothers, who is a genius at investment banking, was in the US, and when I told him about this, he said, hey, take a look at it. It is interesting. Why not? Why should we continue as a professor? Why not you go and become an entrepreneur and develop the company? So we went and visited the company, made some due diligence, and found out from a SWOT analysis that the company had great potential. The two initial people, Dr. Shishadri and Dr. Ram Gopal, had made some tactical mistakes in starting the company and therefore had faltered. He said, okay, there's a great potential. Let's take a look at it and see if we can revive it. In my analysis, I will not give you any financial details because they are slightly different from technical details. I will, if somebody has any specific question, I'll answer them. But otherwise, we took the company and found out that these people, in order to sustain themselves, had strayed from making the high quality micro devices to making low quality products like line cards, motherboards, and all kinds of things. The first thing we did after taking over the company, we took over the company by simply buying out all the liabilities. And that itself was a fairly large amount. But what we did was completely stop all such products and focus attention on these hybrid devices. As luck would have it, the chief of Lucas TVS visited us and told us, look here, we are having quite a lot of problem in the imported products from different places. You have the potential to develop the product. If you develop it, I will stay with you. We'll work together and grow. That was a very big thing for us because we were staring at zero business in the first year. But my R&D group told me, this is a very simple thing we can easily do. Please tell him that we will do it. They wanted to make voltage regulators for the automobile. And everybody knew the automobile business was picking up in India at that time. And the requirement was fairly large. And we were making thick film devices as against thin film devices being made by the advanced companies. Somebody advised us, don't do thick film devices, migrate to thin film devices, which meant spending another 10, 15 crores and wait for the development. I think the two of us sitting there decided, no, we will not do thin film, we will go ahead with thick film. I think I'm mentioning some of these because taking the right decisions at the right time will go a long way in establishing stability. In about 2 months, we made the regulator. It was okay, I think, but the TVS people were very happy with that. They compared it against the Mitsubishi imported material and said, hey, this has these following defects, can you correct it and come back to us? So that was the way they collaborated with us. This kind of collaboration is very, very important, especially for startups, especially for companies who are beginning their production and so on, where the moral support that is given by such actions is so important. It gave us a big boost, and we said in about 3 months after that, we gave him a sample with which they were extremely satisfied. They said it is better than it should be imported variety. It is a very tiny little device, small little thing, about 1 centimeter, less than a centimeter in size, and containing about 20 parts. All parts printed in the printing machine. We got really encouraged, and from then on, we started making regulators for all their cars. It's so funny. Every car has a regulator, but every car has a different design for it. I do not know why. But it gave us an opportunity to look at it. Our regulators, voltage regulators, went into a variety of automobiles in India, and we were very soon making 1,000 regulators a day. And that was the kind of thing we wanted to do. Initially, I said we didn't want to do low quality products. But I'll tell you, the automobile products are even worse than space products. For the space quality product, they test it only once because it goes up and goes off. You don't get it back. But for the automobile, it stays on for years, and we need to give that kind of product. So we got training in making very high quality products. These people also are demanding your rejection rate in the plant should not be more than 1,000 per million. And when you supply it to us, the rejection rate should not be more than 100 per million. The management didn't bother about it. The R&D people took care of it. I think, just to make the story very short, we were able to develop these regulators, and over a period of 7 years in the beginning, we focused attention on developing these regulators. Why? Because on the one hand, I had the task of making these devices for the satellites, for ISRO. On the other hand, I have these automobile products, which gives me a return of maybe 1.5 to 2%, as against what I could have got in the ISRO product, something like 35–40%. Even then, we went ahead mainly because the number of people whom we have employed had risen from 70 to about 300. I have to provide paying for all of them, and therefore this automobile thing, I always call it the bread and butter word for it in KHMD. And this automobile product sustained me continuously so that we could pay for all of them. And we started looking at other things. ISRO, please note, this is a very important part of our approaches to big companies. We have 2 examples here where one, namely ISRO, holds your hand to walk up and then allows you to learn how to run. That's the kind of support ISRO gave. He kept on giving us ideas saying, do this, do that, develop it, and so on. Finally, we developed the device that was qualified completely. And all the people who were working with it, they were also to be qualified for them. They were also qualified. And note that it took me 7 years. You have to sustain for 7 years. But we did. And once the manufacturing of the ISRO devices started, money started coming in, and we were very, very lucky. Within about another 4 years, from almost nil revenue in the first year, we reached a revenue of about 25 crores. We could have done maybe double of that in the last 2 years, but because of the corona, etc., we have not been able to do it. But that's not very important. What is important is today, ISRO says, hey, KHMD is a very dependable partner. We can make anything for it. To give you a very, very simple example, they asked us to design and build a board called seismographic device. I do not know all the technical details of this card, but we took it up, and over a period of 2 years, we developed it. And I understand this board was employed on the Mangalyaan for the final descent of the rover. Oh, I'm sorry, something happened. 1 second. What happened, I don't know. Wait a minute, I need to get back 1 second. I'm not able to see anything on the computer. Can you hear me? I'll continue.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not able to see anything on my screen, doesn't matter. So this board was designed and given to them. I understand this board is used to control the descent of the final part that goes on the line on the screen. And we got a certificate after that saying that your board has worked excellently, and here is an order for 50 more of those. And we all enjoyed and celebrated, and we are now trying to do all that. So this is the way we actually developed a part of our thing with great focus. The focus was on making devices for ISO. On the other side, the other focus, because we wanted to sustain, the focus was on making the automotive part. Today also we make something like 8,000 to 9,000 regulators per day, and roughly about 200 to 300 devices per month for the ISO. The ISO has come back and given us a fairly large amount of orders, and we are happy about it. We're very happy. When we were doing this, we got a very challenging offer from HAL. They were saying that for all their defense aircraft, the mission computers, the display computer, the radar computers, all of these are locally made and fitted, and not what comes along with the defense aircraft. Because most of the defense aircraft are being bought from outside. And therefore, they wanted these boards to be made. Each computer would contain roughly about 50 to 60 boards. And they wanted these boards to be made within a certain specific period of time. And the other restriction was they should all be manually made, not machine made. We had an excellent machine, pick and place machine, but they said, no, that cannot be used. You have to do it manually. So we had to build a group of people who could handle a PCB, who could then place this, roll it, solve rate, do it, all that. I think we did the job with a great seriousness, and within the period they wanted it, we were able to give it back to them. It was so easy for us to say, we have the capability and we'll develop it and we'll do it. I think those people were very, very happy, and they gave us an immediate order for making some 4,000 boards. I think I will give you what is the progress that we have made in these 20 years. We have made more than 2,000 of those devices for ISRO satellite. Our slogan is, every satellite goes up, HMD is present. We have made 20 million regulators. That's a real record for us. I mean, 20 million regulators. That means in 3 to 4 automobiles of the 10 automobiles that run on the road carry my regulator. We have made something like 40,000 computer boards for the defense aircraft at HAL. We are now developing what is called the position lighting for the aircraft. Will go on the LCA. They've given us several orders like this. So I think now they know HMD's capability, and that's where we stand today. That is, we are focused on achieving excellence, technical excellence, timely supply, timely delivery of parts, quality, high quality, and at the same time, minimal interaction with outside. I mean, all this I told you now, the total number of customers for me was only 3. Lucas TVS, ISRO, and HAL. Many people came and told me, this is a very dangerous situation. If tomorrow ISRO says, I don't want you, you will lose a huge amount of things. If Lucas comes and says, I'll buy it somewhere else, you will lose this part of the business and so on. But I think we gambled a little there and said, as long as we can satisfy them, they will not go away from us. Several people have come and told me, you have achieved this kind of success in your company. What kind kind of background did you have? I always tell them I'm not a management expert. I'm only a professor. But I applied the same kind of thing that you apply to students when you develop students. You take care of them so well. I did the same thing with all my people here, and it worked wonders. All you do is go and talk to them. Talk to your workers. Hello, how are you? How is your family? How are your children doing, etc. So if you do that, I think that will be good enough for them to keep them in your phone. I must make one mention here very clearly. In the initial period, please note this is a very important thing for those who want to build companies. We advertise for positions. A number of very highly qualified people apply. We wasted so much time holding interviews, selecting very good people. They'll all come and join. 2 to 6 months, they're all gone. You have to repeat the exercise once again. From my background, I told the people, let's not do this anymore. Bring fresh graduates, young people, put them on the job, train them very well, give them the required basic training and tell them, we expect you to do this and so on. So we brought about 6 to 8 young people, trained them well. I can tell you, even after 14 years now, they're all with me. They're all very well trained, very highly skilled, and they're asking for more. I think this is the kind of thing we would like to do. The money part of it does not really matter. In fact, my payments initially were much below industry standard. Of course, today they're all of them are much above industry standard, and that of course takes care of them. But taking care of these people is a very, very important. So somebody told me you have to do the 4 M's: men, machinery, money, and management. Probably automatically came to us. We were able to do. Now we have to think in terms of what is future. I can keep on telling you several success stories like this of a small product that we undertook and developed. We also faced some real challenges. I will not mention all of them, I will mention only one of them. The small, what you call the print material that you make, I mentioned to you about 1 centimeter small little thing. We produce a lot of those, and several companies have come and asked us, like let's say the tube light making people at that time would come and ask us, can you make this for us? We want 1 piece on either side of the tube light. And that cost would be 1 rupee each. We resisted making any of those. We didn't want to make it. We said we will not take any of these, but we'll only start making something where there's a specialty. For these regulators, the design is patented. It is not easy for anybody to duplicate it, mainly because after printing, if you want to adjust the resistors, you have to trim them. The trimming machine costs you about 2 crores. And if you want to have 2 of those machines, that itself is 4 crores. So the initial investment is very high. So the entry barrier is pretty large. Therefore, it's not very easy for anybody to take it up. I can tell you one company somewhere near Pune has started, but they are struggling. The other challenge we faced was relative cost. Someone came and asked us, hey, can you make this small little thing for us, the hybrid device, which I'm going to put in the instruments and automotive part component. We examined this, we designed it, then told them, yes, we'll make it for you. It will cost you 31 rupees. I'm giving you some idea of the cost because it is the cost that drove us away. And those people came back and showed us The same material they obtained from China cost 11. They said, okay, please go ahead and buy it in China, don't come back to us. They were surprised. After about 3 years, they came back to us. They said, hey, please try and help us, try to reduce the cost somehow, and please help us, we want to make it. I said, you have bought it such a beautiful little thing from China, why do you want to come back to us? Then he gave me the story. When you buy it from China, you have to place an order for 1 million pieces at the same time, pay in advance, and when the pieces arrive, you don't know which one will work, which one will not work, and nobody cares about it. And when you try to call back the company itself is not there, and etc. There's so many other problems there. Whereas they try to make it with us, we can guarantee every piece, every single piece. I'm very happy to say that this company has come back to me now, and they've placed a fairly large order, almost as big as what we are making for the past 3 years, and we are going through all the qualification procedures. So there are several aspects of manufacturing. If you ask me, I'm not mass manufacturing at all. I'm just only making small numbers. This particular China company that supplied, I understand, was making an automated machine at 100,000 per day. They were supplying it to the whole world, something. But I'm just making about 8 to 10,000 per day. It's a very small thing. So mine is not fully automated. Mine is manual, and we are very happy with it. But that takes us to a very important point. In several board meetings, we have discussed it. Say, hey, what's the future? Are we going to do the same thing for the next 20 years? If you examine what I've said all this time now, what I made to ISRO, what I made to HAL, what I made to Lucas Stevens, they're all kind of service type things. I'm not making any product which I can sell in the market. I don't have a product of my own. So I'm a service-oriented company. If those people say, I don't want the service, I have to close down my shop. So that means we were saying, you have to make a product of your own to sustain yourself. So we are taking a look at what is to be done. What is the future of manufacturing, either in India or anywhere else? The reality is something different. The scene is changing so rapidly. We are looking at now, today, Industry 4.0. If you look at what was Industry 1.0, that was the Industrial Revolution, where they used water and steam for power transmission. That was something like 1780. The next Industrial Revolution came when the electricity was used in manufacturing. That was about 1870. The next one was when automation was introduced. With all the developments in electronics and everything, automation and so on. That was something like 1980. But the technology is galloping. It is going in such a rapid way, we really don't know what's going to happen. I was telling somebody when I went to this FAA fellowship in Germany, the mobile phone that just appeared. People used to hold very huge pieces in their hand and talk, but still say, oh, I'm able to go anywhere and still talk to anybody. That kind of thing. By the time I came back in 2000, everybody had a mobile phone. And you know the revolutionary thing that has happened in mobile phone, in television technology, and all the iPads, etc. That means we are now at the threshold of the revolution, what they call number 4, Industrial Revolution number 4. I've had a talk with a number of people. When you're in the industry, you have to keep talking to a number of people to find out what is happening around you. Everybody says, hey, India is lagging behind in 4.0. What is 4.0? Simply Internet. Internet of Things. Industrial Internet of Things. For example, robotics. Robotics, what you put in there, you sit here and allow the robot to go and to perform so many things. artificial intelligence, the drones and the electrical vehicles, all of them have all these autonomous controls and so on. So these are the things that happen. On the other hand, you're collecting data at such a rapid rate, you have to analyze them and put them into good use. So data analysts here. Cyber security, because everywhere you have computers now, you need security. So we are looking at all these, and we have now said, I think making autonomous controls will take us far. Just very recently, we have decided that we are looking at making autonomous control and put it in some kind of a device, like a drone, like a robo, like an electric vehicle, like a controlled missile, guided missile, and so on. So you can put this autonomous control in a variety of equipment. We are not blind to this kind of development. So we are trying to take a look at it and find out what is required and how to do it. I must say here that although it appears that we are lagging behind, you will notice that for all of these developments that I mentioned, software development is a very, very important. And it's fairly well-known fact that in India we have a fairly large number of people who are well-versed in software development. That means tomorrow, if you want to say, hey, I write down this kind of software to do that kind of work, I think we have the required potential. So I don't think we should say we are lagging behind. We should be more optimistic and say we have excellent opportunities. Just migrating just outside technology for a moment, I also would like to say in the next 10, 20 years, there will be demand for Indian software people all over the world. Take a look at Europe. What was happening has been further deteriorated by the COVID and so on. That really, tomorrow you will see they would want people to come and work. And where are the people? They are here in the eastern part. We have to go from here. So we are therefore looking at developing systems that can be applied worldwide. Autonomous controls, really one beautiful thing. And there are people who are doing in the area of machine language, artificial intelligence, additive manufacturing, so on. The additive manufacturing is coming in such a big way, but again, controlled by software. Cyber security is another very big thing. If you want to go digital, that is what the basis of 4.0 industrial revolution. We need to have software. I think we have slowly been able to look at some of these things and say, my company will specialize in developing very special products, but will not undertake very huge mass production. I will not make 100,000 pieces and all that, but I only make maybe 1,000 pieces of a very special device, the autonomous control. Somebody told me one autonomous control for a robot will cost you, for a drone will cost you 2 lakh rupees. If you make 100 of those, it's a very big revenue. So I think something like that we would like. With all this, you can simply again ask me a simple question. You are a professor and there's a company here. How did you transfer from there to here, migrate from there to here? Many people have asked me this question. I think there's no standard thing saying only if you do this, you will run an industry. If you don't do it, you cannot run the industry, etc. All you have to do is keep your eyes open, ears open, and look at the market around you and say, if somebody wants it, I will make it and give it. Your need is my opportunity, that kind of a thing. And there are millions of products available. It so happened that since I bought a company that was already doing some work in the area of space and automotive, I continued that, but we are slowly migrating to all of aerospace and the Industrial 4.0. I think we will have excellent opportunities to make products, to be in technology development, and to be able to help a number of people. I must, before I close, I would like to say that all our customers, especially Lucas TVS, ISRO, or HAL, they have given us such laurels, saying that you have done such a beautiful work technologically. They don't want to look around anywhere outside, and that's what we want. We want to do it here in India for us, not depend on somebody else, and that's what we have done. What I will then do is to stop here and expect to answer questions from anybody, so that there will be more focused reply for anybody's requirements. Is that fine?
Yeah. Yes, Professor. I'll just have to open up their mics.
Yeah.
So, DwarakaDasa, I think I will just start. Satish Kailash.
Yeah, please. That's right.
Starting, you had made a statement that the initial people who were there in the company made some mistakes.
Right.
If you don't mind, can you tell what kind of mistakes they made?
Yeah, they made.
Or what you
yeah, I don't know. I can tell you, I've got a list of all those with me. They made a mistake of one, not looking at the qualification requirement. They straight away said, okay, if I start the company today, I can start supplying the thing tomorrow. But they were themselves from space, remember, and still they were not able to comprehend this delay. Because of this delay, they put their hands on products that consumed a lot of energy and effort, but did not pay them back. Like at that time, for example, they made motherboards of Philips people. I have a very bad experience with Philips. I do not want to condemn anybody or give any negative report, but these collaborative things, I think the Professor Srinivas mentioned, please say something about collaboration. I will tell you that a little later. But these people, they started making this. They started losing money. Now they're making money. And they made all kinds of the line control card. I don't know if you remember it. Previously, ITI made these telephone exchanges which were there all over the country. And the C-Dot came in and said, I want 100 line control cards every day. So these electronic people, manufacturing people looked at the potential, started making line control cards, and our company also made line control cards and wanted to sell it at 120 rupees. But all these 20 people or 27 people joined together and said, no, we will all say if they pay cash, I'll sell it at 90 rupees. Just imagine the entire profit went down. Like this, they made several mistakes in product selection. They made some mistakes in selecting, employing people. They did not need 80 people. They just needed about 17 to 18 people to look after the hybrid development. They didn't do it. They employed 80 people. Then they took money from 900 people. All these people looked at them for returns. I want to say that even today we have not returned any money to them, but we have bought all the shares back, so that our number of shareholders now has reduced to close to 300. So they got transport from Bangalore to Electronic City at 6,000 rupees a day for these 70 people. In fact, the first thing we did was to call all the people and say, hey, you're being picked up. You get up at 6:30 and get into the bus and come here, go back home at 7:30. We'll give you the freedom to come exactly at 8:15. You can all start at 7:30 and come at 8:15. Make your own use of transport. Don't depend on the company transport. They all just agreed and we stopped it. Now we saved about 2 lakh rupees every week. Similarly, canteen facilities. He said, we just buy it somewhere and give it to you. You can bring your own food, but I'll provide you excellent facility to sit down and eat. They all agreed, and we had excellent returns from this. So like this, several mistakes were there, and within about 3 months we stopped all that. There were technical mistakes also in making the selection of equipment, so we had to rebuy several equipment. That was okay.
The second question I wanted to ask was, you have to buy these electronic components, right, for these boards?
Yes.
Where do you have to import? Do you import them, or do you source them locally, or how do you go about it? You just buy in?
We started initially with 81% import, and continuously we have replaced it by local supplies. Presently, we import only about 5 or 6 items, and the metallic paste. In screen printing and making hybrid devices, different devices, metallic paste is very important. Therefore, conducting paste, the resistor paste, capacitor paste, and so on. All these pastes are very expensive, but we cannot help. Only 3 years ago, somebody in Dalmia company has started making the conductor paste. One other fellow in Delhi has started making the resistor paste. So we are slowly getting used to that, and we are trying to import that. But ISRO says, I don't want any of it. I only want that fellow company from California to supply the paste. For ISRO, what will buy imported from? Otherwise, we use all the Indian paste. What you say is a very important part. Some of the electronic components, I will tell you, I am capable of making those components myself, but I don't want to do it because my focus will be taken away, and it will not pay me. I'll tell you a very, very simple device. We are making resistor networks. This is something electronic people will easily know. On one chip, I have 10 resistors, and these 10 resistors can be connected to different places. So they are equal to placing 10 resistors in different places on the board. So you can save a huge amount of space. These are single line resistors and double line resistors, and ISRO buys them at a fantastic rate for me. Somebody said, why don't I sell it in the market outside? When I go out in the market, they want 1/30th of that price I'm selling it to ISRO. But how can I sell it? How can I make any money? Therefore, we didn't make it as a product. We only made it for ourselves, for the ISRO purpose, and use it. So there are several things like this. I would like you to visit me and see me. You will understand what kind of complication is there in making these devices. It takes me 5 days to realize one device.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The mics are now open, and I request especially the interns of AzadiKaAmrutMahotsav internship program to actively participate, and though you are graduate students, you can be free.
These internship students are in the Institute of Science?
They are specially selected as part of the India's celebration of 75 years of Indian independence. Okay. So
some of them will be entrepreneurs, startup companies, and so on?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what the expectation.
Okay.
Yeah.
One very important information I want to tell you about is managing the money. This is what this probably I had it in my blood, and I did not mention in the beginning. The KHMD was my 4th company. I built 6 companies, but we had to close down 2 of them for want of input in the battery area. But we were very successful in the battery area. In all these companies, I made a very strict rule that we will not borrow until we are in the last part. And it has helped me so much. All of these companies are financially so very stable today. Even the bank come and tell me, hey, I'm ready to give you 100 crore loan, take it. If we are not taking it. And that's the kind of management is required. Just to give you an opposite example, when I bought this company and when we moved into our own building, next door there was another company, it was a startup company. they had got 5 crore loan from somewhere. The MD went and bought a Mercedes-Benz car to run to the company every day. I asked him, why do you want this company? Such a huge, expensive car. You put about 90 lakhs to buy the car. He says, unless I have status, nobody will come to me. That was not a very good. In fact, nobody came to him, and finally, I think he closed down the company. Confusion, something, not the company. But I'm still there. we did not provide transport to anybody. Only now, I think the CEO, the market representative managers, they're all getting things like that. But otherwise, we did not have any transport anymore.
Professor, I will voice the one common question from multiple companies that has come to me.
Yeah.
When you have a startup and you start a startup, slowly the investors will come in with their money and take the share of the company. At what point and time should you allow the investors bring the money and take the share, or should you wait for a longer period of time?
This has happened. Whenever I go to US, I sit in a committee of VCs, those who will give money. The people who come and appear there, they come at these following stages. One set of people come at the end of having shown an idea, saying, "Hey, this idea will work. I can make it happen, and I can take the idea to fruitful conclusion." If the people sitting there are convinced that the idea is good, it will work, they'll give them. But I think that's not the right stage to go for it. The next step will be to have made a prototype and show it, and then say, "Hey, this can be manufactured in so many numbers, and I have the market analysis. The market potential is so and so. Then, if you give me money, I'll make this part and sell it and make the money." And that is the right time to ask for it. And it's very difficult to explain to VCs what this is and how it works. I have 3 people with me in the last maybe 3-4 months who have come to me with a product like this, and they're looking for people to support. One of them is an artificial intelligence, I think, when you put it in the kitchen, and it takes care of the water in the sump and the tank upstairs, and keeps balancing it so that you will get your money, you will get your water without any disturbance. Another one is something which gives you, you must have seen it on the WhatsApp also, the person who has made a device which measures your blood pressure, your temperature, your sugar content, your oxygen, all of them in one go. Although it's such a beautiful thing, he has not been able to find money. So there are difficulties.
Thank you.
I also want to mention this. Somebody sent me a book called 30 Inventions That Were Made in India. I forget the name of the author, but I sent it to several people. I read through the whole thing. Each of the inventions is so beautiful. Very small, tiny, small little things, but required in huge number in the society. 27 of them were funded by foreigners. 3 of them by Indians. And I want you to make your own analysis to find out, why don't they do it? Why can't they go and support the thing and develop it within the country? Why do you want somebody else to do it and all this goes out from here to there? I'm very critical about this, but I have not mentioned this anywhere, except in some galleries like this. There are hundreds and thousands of people who have money. And the money that is required by these small people is something they can just throw away, but still they're not supported. I don't know how to say it.
Maybe
I would prefer all these youngsters who develop things. And there are thousands of things that have been developed by Indian children, very, very intelligent children, but very few of them get support.
Yes.
I'll give you an example which I think you already know about. Sequestration of CO2 and conversion to organics. So we are worried about climate change and all that because everything is because of CO2, etc. So this small boy, I think, was working with Natarajan or somebody in JMC and has developed a device, and he didn't get any support. He then entered a competition. Some American company said, "Okay, this one will get first prize," and he's asking him, "Come and set it up in Nashville or somewhere in America, and I'll give you any support." Why not India? I asked him, "Why not India?" He said, "Nobody is coming forward to help me, support me." I think we need to change our minds. That's why we are saying India is lagging in I4C 4.0. We must identify potentials. We must encourage youngsters to set up things here and say, hey, you don't have to go abroad, you can do it here. I can also tell you my PhD was asked to be bought by so many people. It just didn't budge. One American company called MTI in Minnesota came and said, I will buy up your company, I'll give you something. The valuation at that time was some 20 crores or something, early in my life. But today our valuation is more than 1,000 crores.
Thank you, Professor. And I hope people take note of that and, keep the value with them and sell it early stage. Yeah.
It's not necessary they would like to ask questions now, but I'm available on the email and my email address is there.
There are 3 people lined up.
Okay, sure, please.
Yeah, Mr. Deepan, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
My question was particularly regarding how dependent are we as a country on China in semiconductor manufacturing.
Okay, very nice.
And the related question is that how can we overcome this and become independent in that industry and as well as in mass manufacturing?
Yeah, excellent question. Because I have put in such a lot of effort to change the situation. You said semiconductor. Let me simplify it by saying we'd like to make the semiconductor chip making. Because when you make the silicon chips and so on, you can easily slice it to do all that. India did in fact try making this in the semiconductor in Chandigarh, some plant in town. But there was some problem, it could not develop. But I knew BEL here, right here in Bangalore, was making silicon semi-crystals quite some time ago. They also made germanium crystals, but it did not grow up. While the technology in US and other places went up to making, I want to make 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch, 12-inch, now it has gone to 15-inch and so on. They stayed with, I think, 4-inch and very abysmal development. So then say China. China offered such very low labor costs that the American companies said, hey, we'll go and set it up there. They all went there. And the Chinese very easily copied everything and set up their own plants. And they're today making these semi-crystal chips or semiconductors, whatever you say, in billions, not millions. And therefore they're able to sell it to the whole world. And where are you in competition? The other point is unique technology. If you say I will start setting up now, build my own things, it might take you another 25 years to do it. Then we have to have gone to somewhere else. So the best thing would be to say, tell somebody, IBM or somebody, hey, why don't you come and set up a plant here? I'll pay you the money. I did this in 2012. So much, talked to so many people, everything, and it was all settled. He said 1,200 crores will be given. IBM will come and put the plant here in Bangalore or somewhere where the spot is given, and we'll have an 8-inch silicon growing facility and the downstream facilities and so on. I was so happy that it all worked out so well. But I still, just 2 weeks later, I get a note from the chairman saying, sorry, the IBM says they cannot sell it because it is a patent being held by somebody else. The whole thing fell down. Afterwards, government of India announced saying, whoever wants to set up a facility, chip making facility, we'll give you 5,000 crores. But nothing happened. So that's the kind of thing. So today, China means also, I think China, Malaysia, and all Thailand, all these places, they have their own facilities and they can supply the whole world. And therefore, competition with them is very tough. So what we in KHMD decided is, make what you can make, buy what you can buy, and therefore you can maintain a balance. So I think that's the kind of thing we should do. At this late hour, to go on saying I will become self-sufficient by putting up a plant and so on, may not work. But downstream products, there are so many people who just import the slices, process them further and make the product. That a lot of them are doing. That can be easily done.
Thank you, Professor.
No, I want to tell him one more. I just want to add one more thing there for him. The best example is LED. We also started an LED company. We made an LED and so on, but we could not stand the competition. The Chinese LED is down there, bottom-most prices. We cannot compete.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Mr. Dinesh?
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So it has really been riveting to hear KHMD's journey. So I just want to ask a little bit off-topic question. Like, actually, I am currently a fourth-year metallurgical student.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to learn the nuances of semiconductor or hybrid devices, all about those sectors. Like,
Okay.
I've noticed that we aren't given normally the opportunities to learn in this field, which is dominated by EEE or EC people. Like, how do I approach about it, sir? Like, how can I learn?
Today, you don't have to be limited by any particular class or anything. If you look at, open the Google and find out hybrid devices, there'll be hundreds of articles available to you. And if you are very specifically interested in hybrid devices, come to me. I'll take you there, and maybe you can spend 2 weeks with me and learn everything.
Yeah.
Hybrid devices, there's nothing very great about it. I also thought initially, what's all this and so on. But I'll tell you, I learned the entire thing in 3 days. I'll tell you, maybe you can take 1 week or maybe 2 weeks. The material science there is really very exciting in hybrid devices because we apply the paint. Initially, we apply silver paint, which is highly conducting. Then we apply the silver platinum paint, which gives you the resistor. Then we have a non-conducting layer. Then apply one more layer, make capacitor. This is very exciting. And all of these of the order of 50 microns. I can now make it 25 microns. The 25 microns is so big compared to your nanometric things, right? So that's why we call it hybrid thick film device. Don't worry, you can easily learn it, and just call me or send me a mail. We'll organize a trip for you.
Yes, sir. I would love to.
What is your name, you said?
Sir, my name is Dinesh.
And where are you doing metallurgy?
Sir, I'm doing metallurgy from NIT Nagpur.
Nagpur, okay, very good. Maybe Ramrau's place, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. Yeah, we'll do that. Just let me know. I will organize a visit for you. You can come and learn. No problem.
Yes, sir. I would love to. Yeah.
Sure. Very nice.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Very good.
Thank you. Dr. Veena?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. This is Dr. Veena.
Yeah.
Your lecture brought back a lot of fond memories for me. I started in microelectronics hybrid lab tech films. And yeah, I was testing KHMD's resistor arrays and diode arrays and all. In the early beginning, yeah, which was supplied to ISRO.
Oh, very good, excellent.
Yeah, I was a part of the testing team there.
Have you met me?
Yeah, in microelectronics hybrid loop under Mr. Suresh.
Suresh, okay.
Yeah, I was interacting with Vidyasagar of KHMD.
Okay.
I don't know, a long time back. It's almost
it was at the very beginning.
Yes. Yeah, brought back a lot of fond memories for me actually. I had just started my career then. When I was testing this, and we had this KHMD in Bangalore, which was a good alternative to WIE Pune.
Yes.
Here we used to get from WIE all these resistor arrays and all.
Yes.
And if you remember, we had a hybrid lab. So my question is, I'm sure this was a hard journey and you have succeeded it. Even today, it is a success story.
Yes.
Even today, the scenario for hardware is not different. I'm interacting with one of the factories, which is a PCB plant in Pune, which literally is struggling to survive because of this lockdown and other things.
Which is that?
Unitron.
Unitron. Okay, Unitron.
Yeah, they have invested and set up a huge plant.
Yes.
And now it is really, they're struggling to really survive this pandemic. Looking for projects, and these kind of factories require 24/7 running.
I told Unitronics to change their method of doing it because electronic services will not pay you anything. Same thing happened with the company that concerns in Mysore and one other company in Mysore. Electronic services only will not help. Initially, there will be very high potential. They'll give you money and you will be so happy, but very soon it will stop because competitors are too many.
No, my question is a little different. That is, I understand that only relying on services is difficult, but we are also not we are also struggling to survive today because we have a product here. I work for Sensemi Technologies, which is co-founded by me, and we have developed a hardware which can monitor body vitals. Multiple body vitals.
Okay.
But making it in India today is still a difficult thing. See, we have done the engineering part of it. Now the product is ready for commercialization. The commercialization part also requires equal amount of investment to really beat the competition which we have from China or any other imported devices.
I agree.
So it is really, really difficult, and we can't convince any investor to say that we can make profit out of it.
Yeah.
So it is really a difficult game here. See, engineering, somehow we could survive and make it, but then making it a commercial success is a big story actually.
I know.
And if you know KHMD, the hybrid circuits and all, right? There are actual users like exchanges, Bell and ITI, ISRO, they use it. So I don't know how difficult it was for you to really get those orders, but today going to customer is a big problem for us.
Even today, getting order from BEL and other places is not easy. As I mentioned, ISRO, that's why I wanted to explain to you in the beginning that ISRO follows a very different approach to its the people who come there to develop products. They will hold hand with you, go along with you until you succeed. They will not disband you saying, "Oh, you didn't do it, it's not very good," etc. If something happens, they'll say, "This is what has happened. Let's correct it and go further." But that kind of thing is not available from any other public sector undertaking. For your product, I can tell you there are at least 3 other people who are doing the same thing, similar thing, body vitals, and not able to find money. I don't know why. I'm telling you, that's what I just now mentioned. Those 30 inventions in that book, 27 of them were supported by foreigners. And all of them went away. Only 3 of them stayed back here. And those 3 of them one was the use of plastic in road making. Another was that Italy, those are that little thing. and a third one was something very similar to that, urea, coating, etc. But all other things, are very beautiful things, they all went away. And when somebody else funds it, they would like to have the profit, not to you. So where are you trying now to get the money?
We are trying to through all sources actually. We are trying through all these government grants like BIRAC, DST and other grants actually. And we are also going for private equity people. And GE has accepted and recommended our solution. In spite of that, we are struggling to, I mean, meetings happen. People give us first meeting.
I know.
Okay, meetings do happen. And they collect lot of follow-up questions and we answer them. And then finally, after collecting all the information, they back it out.
I know.
And also it is very difficult for us also to justify the profit or anything now. I mean, returns, I would say. Because
who is your BDM, Business Development Manager?
We have my other partner who is himself doing it.
Oh, he's himself doing it.
Yeah. We are directly talking to whoever we come in contact for potential investors.
What's the name of your company, you said?
Sensemi Technologies.
Sensemi Technologies. I do not know how I can give you further answer to that, but I do know that it is rather difficult to convince investors in India. Otherwise, there's so many of these technologies would have been our own, which have gone away from our hands. How do you do that?
No, the thing is, we know that the products are of not good quality, but still that survives. And the good quality ones don't get support. That's a sad part of it.
That's a very sad part of it. I agree.
Thank you, sir. Otherwise, it was very motivational.
Can you send me an email with some description of the product?
Sure, sir. I will do it.
DwarakaDasa@gmail.com.
Pardon? Can I note down?
DwarakaDasa, that's my name.
I will share it with you, Dr. Veena.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Well, actually, the experiences that they've had with us, if I put it all together, and it may help a lot of people, but it takes a lot of time. And presently, I'm busy with so many other things.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah. But this was a very interesting talk, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the reconnect.
Yeah, then very nice to know that you were looking at our products. But that was very early,
early stages, yeah.
Before I came.
Yeah, okay.
I really took over in 98 March.
Oh, okay.
But Ram Gopal is my cousin. Sheshadri's brother, Gundurao, cousin Gundurao.
Okay.
And two of his brothers were my colleagues in the Institute of Science. So we had some connection.
Yeah.
But I really want to say, if any of you want to see what I'm doing, you are welcome. And
sure.
that gives a big idea of what the industry is. We are very clean.
I'm just thinking of conducting a program. They can visit, whoever is interested can visit your place and learn from you.
Yeah, definitely. Please, I will personally accompany you to show you around.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ganesh, I think Jambale, right?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. It was very nice session. Sir, I am engineering student. I will graduate next year, sir.
Okay.
Sir, as you have so many years of experience in startup field and you have started many companies, sir, for today's youth engineer, what will you suggest, sir? Means if I have any idea and I have to start my company, or I have to start my company while working with another company. Means, sir, today there are so many competition and so many big MNCs are there in any field, sir. And if I cannot,
Ganesh, let me tell you, if you have an idea and if you have focus in your goal, a goal in your focus, nobody can stop you. But the idea of saying I'll work in a company and start another company, all that will not work. What you should therefore do is just get the idea and develop it into some product, some service, something like which can be offered to somebody, and then say what part of this can be offered to somebody, and then go ahead and do it. Just now we have mentioned that despite having built a device that they can show, they are not able to get support money. And that kind of a thing will deter you, discourage you. But you should not get discouraged. Despite the fact there are so many MNCs now, don't worry about that. You go have your attention, focus, and proceed. And do not worry about your background, because the background will only give you ability, not subject. Just because you're a civil engineer, it's not necessary to make civil engineering product. You can make anything else. My daughter is a material scientist, but she is now today an investment banker, and she's doing so well. So don't worry about it. If you have an idea, work on it. Time doesn't mean anything. You don't have to wait until you graduate.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I am working with sir currently National Innovation Foundation, sir.
Oh, okay, okay, very good.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. For it was an honor for me to communicate with, and thank you IIC for giving me this opportunity, sir.
Keep in touch with me if you need any answers or questions. Send me a mail. I'll always send you a reply.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Ms. Anchal Singh Thakur.
Hi, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask, while moving from academia to entrepreneurship, what were the additional skills that you had to take on? Because academia in India is very far from the current market trends.
I will not agree with that, because if you depend on what is taught in the class, I'm sure you will not learn anything. Many of the students learn quite a bit outside the class. The class teaching is only a premise for you to learn. I mean, in order to support my theory, I will tell you, only people having gone to IIT will flourish. People keep on saying. That's not true. There's so many other people from other colleges, some unknown colleges have come up. They've come up so high in life. That's because they have their own interest. They have in them interest to do something. That kind of thing. Your other question is, what is it that's required to go from academic to industry? Nothing. Your background, your training is good enough to run an industry. Most of it is fairly common sense. I do not agree with what they teach in the management courses. Oh, look at Professor Narayan Murthy, look at these people who have established Microsoft and all that and so on. Can you show me one more Narayan Murthy? Or can you show me one more, whatever the picture and so on? Those are not really examples to take to teach. You should take examples of somebody who has been down on earth, has come up and come here and say, hey, what did he do? How did he come up? That kind of an example is one. And that's what I want to do it here in teaching. When I came here, they were at zero, and they have developed it to some level. Now I think the present CEO says, sir, in 2 years I'll reach 100 crores. That's the kind of thing. But money alone is not the thing. Today we are happy because our technical capability and excellence has been recognized by everybody. You ask HMD in any part of HAL, any part of ISRO, any part of Lucas and so on, they will say, yes, we know HMD. That kind of. That's what we want. And I want to see at least some of the startups that are listening to me to do the companies in India. Not go abroad and say, oh, I've done all that, etc. But you're only working for somebody, not for our country. In this 75 years of independence movement, Amrut Mahotsav tells you, we want to do it for our nation, not for somebody. And that was the strongest motive for me to stay back and do it. Although I had so many offers, I never went. I could have also made so many dollars and so on, but I didn't want to do that. Definitely. Very good.
Thank you very much, Professor. We are really indebted to you for your insights and wisdom, and hope the motivations that you are giving our startups, incubates, and the interns, everyone will look forward, in making India a better and more Atmanirbhar, as the present slogan is there. Really, thank you.
I want to add an optimistic note. I'm on the board of several universities here, and in one of the last board meetings, the Vice Chancellor was mentioning, hey, our intake is going down. Intake is going down means mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical, all these are going down. I was telling him, don't worry, this is not a phenomenon with your university, it's a global phenomenon. Everywhere it's happening. Why is it happening? This is the interesting part. If you look at the Google University, FaceTime University, or what a Facebook University, etc., they are saying, I don't need your 4 years of engineering knowledge, etc. I want you to come and learn here how to make the C language and develop it into making it something that I can feed to this machine. That if you get specialized in, I'll employ you here. And that will take for 4 months. Why do you want to spend 4 years? So this is the kind of thing that is happening. I do not know if in 10 years later, you will close down all colleges and you will have only places like this which will train people to do something very specific. That is because if you look at Industry 4.0, everything is software-based. You have to learn software everywhere. And therefore, if you gain knowledge in a particular area of software, which you can load into a robot, a drone, or something, electric vehicle or something, you are the expert. And fortunately for us, most of the Indian students have excellent background in software. They have that skill because of the very nature of our work. Somebody told me that you just pick up anybody on their own, tell them come and sit and learn. Initially, he will say it's very difficult and so on, but very soon he will learn and he'll become an expert. That's the kind of background knowledge we have in the area of mathematics and computers and so on. And that is what gives me real hope, saying in the next 10 years, we will shine like anything.
Yes. Any other questions?
Ashwini wants to ask some question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
It was a very inspiring talk, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you very much.
So I have a small question.
Yes.
Wherein I want to ask you, starting a service-based startup is easy. May not be easy, but it is like compared to product-based startup, relatively it is easy to start a service-based startup.
Correct.
But for a product-based startup, what are the key points one should consider while choosing or selecting a product?
In the present scenario, if you want to choose a product, you must do a market analysis. If the market potential is not established, you should not touch it at all. In the second place, even if the market potential is established, you should look at manufacturability. Sometimes you develop a product, it's not easy to manufacture, it will not work at all. We have several problems like that we had to face, and we had to solve that and bring it down to manufacturable design, to manufacturability. Then application. There are so many things available now in the market. You must be very, very careful to say, where will my product go? Will it abet some other product and work together, or does it work independently? That kind of a thing. The last point is availability. Don't design anything for which you don't have things readily available. Initially, I suffered like anything, but I'll give you one small example. We print these metallic pastes on a substrate made of aluminum. And this alumina receives 12 microns of the paste. And this thing is cut into small pieces and divided, we get a small circuit. And we wanted, therefore, the substrate thing to be flat, 0.6 millimeter thick, and a camber less than 10 microns. It was so difficult to get it. And some Japanese company said, we'll give it to you. And every month, every supply, they kept on increasing the price. I'm very happy to tell you that National Aerospace Laboratories developed this, and now Shumi in Hosur, they are making it, and we have just now approved it, and they've given us 100 samples now. So that's, I think, we have taken such a long time to get somebody enthused about it and to make it. But we have the capability, we can do it. And so when you want to look at a product, please look at all aspects of it and then do it. Just a bright idea is not sufficient. That's why so many people with bright ideas are still waiting to develop their products or develop their services and so on. Even services, it will take its own time. You have to wait.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Now we are out of time. I cannot accept any other questions.
Anybody can write to me.
Yes, I will share the email ID with all of the participants, and you can write your questions. May I have Professor Satish Kailas Vasu? Is he?
Yeah, I am here. Tell me.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. I would please request you to propose vote of thanks.
Me? Okay, fine. Professor, thank you for proposing my name, but I was come as a surprise. But I mean, I'm honored to give this vote of thanks simply because I know Professor DwarakaDasa from maybe, I know him from 50 years. He knows me for more than 50 years.
I know him before you were born. Yeah.
And it has been a wonderful what you call association over the years with him, and it has been a very smooth transition for him from academia to this industrial world. And the talk was very interesting. I thank you, Professor Dasa, for giving this wonderful presentation.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I think one of the points that you should have made was how you people as students were go-getters. And I remember you telling me once that there was no liquid nitrogen available in the institute, and you used to go and collect this from Bangalore University, or I think it was solid carbon dioxide, something like that.
Solid CO2.
Yeah. So you used to go all the way to Bangalore University those days, because Bangalore University those days was like away from Bangalore. It was not in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Collect and come and do the experiments painstakingly, and I think that is also one quality every startup should have: do work painstakingly. And possibly you have been successful in that without even what you call making your employees realize that, and have been successful without realizing. So anyway, thank you very much for this talk. So thank you for giving your time off for this.
Very nice.
Okay,
yeah, I think when things settle down, I'll come and meet Professor Srinivas, and maybe we'll continue our interaction.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Srinivas, I think you can close the talk, right?
Thank you, Srinivas.